You know, there is one thing to make Blueprint Factory in Satisfactory, but completely another level to make it look any good. And today, I will show and share Aluminium Ingot Blueprint Factory that is heavily inspired by the looks of Taipei 101 skyscraper. Main aluminium ingot production is handled by a single universal blueprint that can go on top of any node, and full package include blueprint cover for miner, coal generators to deal with byproduct water, and even several options for the skyscraper pinnacle. In this video, I would go over schematics and logistics for the build, and I would also cover methods behind exterior design. So without further ado, let's check out internals of the build. Alright, let's get our bearings and start at the top. First of all, we have our decorations, which is done with the two blueprints, and one of them have 8 batteries, so it's not purely decorative, so there is that. And then we have our blueprint factories, and this is basically the same blueprint being repeated 6 times for the pure node. And this is really important because, well, this factory can work with pretty much any node. For the impure node, it would be only 2 blueprints, for the normal node, it would be 4 blueprints, and for the pure node, it would be 6 blueprints, but honestly, you can go with the 5 and just lose like 30 ingots, but whatever, for the full production you just stack it 6 times. More interesting part is over here. Basically before that, with all the factories, I had the taper upward, and now I have the taper downward, like on the other direction, just like with the real Taipei 101. And over here I have the blueprint that have the coal generators, and this blueprint basically allow to destroy all the byproduct water, because, well, byproduct water can be a real pain, to be honest. By using coal generators you can just get rid of this issue. Also, I'm importing coal in any case, so why not to use coal generators for exactly that reason. And after that I have decoration. Pretty much this blueprint is covering the miner, and that's it. It's working as a sort of sorting facility, and once again, as you can see over here, everything is very seamless and everything is constructed pretty much like 95% with the blueprints. Alright, and here is the full schematic for this factory. And straight out of the gate you can see that this is the same 1-to-1 conversion rate as the standard recipe for the aluminum ingots. The question is why the hell I'm using this particular combination. And the reason is quite simple. I'm using sulfur over quartz because, well, quite often I'm kind of short on quartz, and also if I want to use quartz I usually want to use the cheap silica, and if I'm using cheap silica then I need to have either extra intakes, I need to get limestone, so this is extra logistics, or better yet I need to create the separate cheap silica production because this blueprint is quite packed, and also this will mean a lot of overclocking, and this blueprint is 1-to-1, so there is no overclocking in this particular factory, which is kind of great when you consider that we are using blenders and refineries. And once again, if we just subdivide it by roughly 5 times, we get to 1-to-1 ratios and 100% machines, which is really important because we will have 1 refinery, 1 blender and 5 smelters in every single blueprint. And as you can see, this is once again 1-to-1 conversion. We have 150 ore on the in and 150 ingots on the out. Really nice and easy because, well, if you think about the pure nodes, this would be 780, but we can downscale it just tiny bit to 750 and have only 5 blueprints. Yeah, this is 5. But if you want the full production you can just add the extra 6th one and it still work. The beauty of this layout is with the normal nodes and with the impure nodes, because normal nodes would be 600, which is basically 4 blueprints, and the impure nodes is 2 blueprints for the 300 ore. The math is just perfect over here. Alright, so now let's go with very cruel thing. Let's dissect the live blueprint that is still producing the aluminum ingots. And over here we have our refinery for sulfuric acid. Over there we have our blender for, well, instant aluminum scrap, and over here we have our pure aluminum ingots. And for that we have 5 smelters. Everything is on 100%, no overclock, no underclock, only some fancy belt work. Right, so as you can see, yeah, there's a bit of 3 dimensions over here, but not a lot. But most interesting part is with the water. On the right pipe we have water in, on the left we have the byproduct water, which is water out. This is really important to have. Why? Well, because fluids, Mark II pipes, valves, a lot of verticality, well, it doesn't really pair well with byproduct water and aluminum production. There will be a lot of issues, and to avoid them, basically you destroy the water with the coal generators. We are already importing coal into our factory, why not just to use a bit of extra coal to just destroy that water? And what is going on with the water? So with the water over here, we have on the right over here Mark II pipe, and on top over here we have the Mark II pipe, because well, otherwise we will not be able to pump all this water so high up. And over here we have two splits, one split for our refinery and the second split for our blender. And after that our blender have the water out, which is just going over here and connect to the Mark II loop of our byproduct water or from every single other blueprint. And let's go over our beltwork. So there's 4 manifolds, 1 manifold out with the ingots over here, then we have sulfur in, we have coal in and bauxite in. Obviously here's a very simple split where we have bauxite split on the 2 parts, 1 part go to the factory, 1 part go through the manifold to the next blueprint, and the same basically goes for the coal, same goes for the sulfur, and the same goes for the ingots but reversed. And over here, down here, you can see here we have our bauxite going all the way over here to our blender in, and the same goes for the coal, but a bit sideways over there. And on the aluminium out, basically we have all the smelters being aligned on one single nice manifold and being fed up over here into the merger and down into the manifold. And this is how the alternate version will look like, the most efficient version of aluminium production, where you have the bigger conversion rate than 1:1. And this is the same recipes, but I'm using the cheap silica and aluminum ingot factory over the pure aluminum ingot smelters. And the interesting thing over here is that, well, cheap silica is just too much assembler, so I'll need to have production of cheap silica on the side, and I'll have the extra silica belt on the in, right near the bauxite and coal. And on the other side I will need to add extra belt because, well, I need to handle way more than 780 aluminum ingots with a pure bauxite ore. So there is that. And if you are thinking about just normal recipes, well, this is totally doable as well. So over here we have just layout for the normal production, and if we just adjust numbers, so here we go, every single blueprint will have slightly overclocked refinery over here, slightly underclocked refinery over there. It will have quite a lot of foundries, so on the foundry department we will have 3 foundries and 4 constructors. Totally doable in the blueprint layout, but well, I just could not bother to deal with raw quartz, and I just decided to add sulfur because why not. The next question is, how do you play this blueprint factory if you are a normal person and you are not using the creative worlds and stuff? Well, obviously I'm using this in normal worlds as well, and this is pretty much the test bench. Over here I'm just testing the throughput of, well, 100% pure node, but because this is the end game production, you will still fly, you will still have the hover pack like I have over here. And for that I have pretty much the wire connections over here on the side, and also I have another connection on other side. So as you can see, everything will work everywhere, so there is no point where you could not really fly around this factory. And once again, all the connections are over here on the front part of the factory. Over here you have the pipes, you have the manifolds, and over here is the connection itself. So this is the 2 points where you will connect your electricity for every single blueprint. And obviously for all the manifolds I will just show the clip how I do that in, well, creative mode, but this is the same with the hover pack. And once again, at some point you will go all the way to the top, and on the top you will have your decorative blueprints that you can connect to the power grid as well. On the exterior construction part, it's actually way easier than it looks. It's just more of tedious work because, well, you need to tilt all the painting beams, and this can take quite a while. For the factory itself I'm using 2-meter tilt, so I'm tilting the beam 2 meters on the 40-meter height of the blueprint designer. And for the lower part where I have my coal generators, I'm just using 1-meter tilt, and I'm offsetting it 1 meter on the top part where I have the coal generators, and I have it flush with, well, the edge of the blueprint designer on the end, on the bottom part where I have the miner cover. And once again I'm just making 1-meter tilt over the 2-meter tilt because, well, I need to have 80-meter span. Only real issue with construction of this blueprint setup is, well, the coal generators. Coal generators, they have very annoying hitbox which is higher than actual blueprint designer. They still fit in the blueprints itself, but when you stack 2 blueprints on top of each other, the hitbox of coal generators will basically not allow you to stack every single thing flush. So you have something about 4-meter gap, and you will need to work out this gap by manually adding painting beams. I know this is annoying, but this is, well, the state of update 8 right now. Maybe it will change in the future. So everything is pinned down below. There will be the billboard version, the normal top version, the tip version, the factory itself, of course, the code generators, of course, and minor cover. So there's like 4 or 5 blueprints there in the blueprint pack. The next time I will be probably making this factory a bit bigger, not bigger, the more efficient, and for that I will need to have the extra production of cheap silica on the side, and then I will have the extra belt over here for the silica itself, and another belt for extra out of ingots, because, well, on the pure node I will have more than 1000 ingots, so I need 2 belts to actually extract that. Otherwise, on the internals there would be 4 foundries, or 3 foundries overclocked. That was that. Aluminium blueprint factory that looks like Taipei 101. Thank you for watching, have a nice one, and Yakis out.